Welcome to Pandora's Awareness Podcast, a place where we collect stories and circulate life-changing wisdom. I am your host, Asher, and our guest today is Leon. Now, you're here because we get to talk about first-time experiences. And today is Monday, which is our theme of the Monday is first-time experiences. And we have the incredible Leon here today.
Mm.
Leon, let me say that properly. We have incredible Leon here today, and we get to get into her life, her journey, her story, her history, and he erased a little bit of those mystery around her history about her first time experiences. So, Leon, if you don't mind telling us where you're hailing from, what you specialize in, how you add value to the world, and who you being a hero to.
Yes, I'm thrilled to be here. I'm LeeAnn Webster, and I am coming from Chicago, Illinois, awesome city on the Great Lakes. I am the creator of the No Regrets formula, and I help women leaders to stop putting off the big goals that really matter so they can live with no regrets and no limit. I'm really all about, I've helped thousands and thousands of people throughout my career to help achieve those big goals, be it in the dating world, in the business world, across a variety of platforms. So that's what I'm really all about is don't put off your life,
Mm,
don't, take control, get out there and do what you want to create the life that really thrills you.
mm. And who you being a hero to, by the way. Mm,
To women leaders, especially over 50. I'm over 50,
mhm.
insert shock. And and I find that there's a lot of us who are, or a lot of women in their 50s who are kind of like, okay, wait a second. The runway ahead feels shorter than the runway behind. And like, what have I been doing? Is this the life that I really want? For those women, especially, I'm like, let's go. Let's make the rest of our lives amazing.
Mm. I would say always have make your future bigger than your past.
Yeah. Ooh, I like
Yeah.
that.
Keep it that way because it is, because if you think about it right now, you're say you're over 50. And if for some reason life erase everything and says, hey, I want you to from where you are right now to create something like you have so much to use to pull from to create
Right.
another future, another part of your history that has so much to offer. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. The possibilities are endless. And I'm not gonna lie, there's a little feeling of like, because like when we were in our 30s and 40s and 20s and whatever, it always just felt like,
Mm,
sure, there's plenty of time. And now there's still plenty of time. And it's like, oh snap, let's get moving.
mm.
Like, what am I waiting for?
So something I recognize in my maturization process right now is, when you're younger, you spend a lot of time like doing things that might not be useful. But then the older you get, the wiser you get. So that means if you're doing something, you can make it more with more purpose now. It's like, you don't have to throw too much of the stuff away
Right.
because
Right.
everything has a purpose. So if you can just gotta climb the ladder and you work on something and it has purpose, it has usefulness, everything you touch has usefulness, then it won't
Yeah.
feel like your future is short. It's gonna feel big because everything you touch has use, has purpose because you've become very, very very wise about your choices.
Yeah.
So I look
Well,
at the
yeah, no,
future.
I agree. And I mean, that's the fun of age, right? Is the like having that perspective when you look back, see like, oh, wait, so I learned this. And then
Mm-hmm.
when I learned that, it helped me learn this. And this tool I was able to use over here. And this
Mm-hmm.
person actually introduced me to this person or brought me to this experience. And you can kind of start to see how the things fit together.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's kind of the fun part of getting older is being like, oh, like look looking back and seeing that. And then to me, that also says like, so what's gonna happen in the future that like I don't even have a concept of right now, but it's all those things are fitting in place to create something new
Mm.
that I'm gonna experience.
I love when you was doing the demonstration, just you like turning. So it's like turning a knob. Like when you was young, you had to turn a knob so many times to get to the thing. But when you're older, it's like one turn and you get there. One turn and you get there. So it doesn't take that much turns anymore
Yeah,
because you understand exactly where to turn.
love it.
Versus make a lot of turn, like, oh my God, I'm lost again. But no.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that analogy. Yeah.
Yeah. So tell us about one of your amazing, incredible first time experiences that you've learned so much from that have expanded you in so many ways that you want to share with us today.
Yeah, when I was thinking about this topic, the first thing that popped into my head was about a year and a half ago. I summited Mount Kilimanjaro in Africa,
Mm.
and there there's a lot of firsts in that experience, and there's a lot of lessons that I learned from it. So where do you want me to start? Are you familiar with Kilimanjaro? Do you know what it is, or would that be
What? So, say,
helpful?
say, say, I'm a young mind that's never seen the world before.
Okay. Um, well, Mount Kilimanjaro is it's one of the seven summits. It's the third highest of the seven, meaning like Mount Everest. I can't remember what the second one is, and like the seven
Mhm.
tallest on each continent. It's the highest mountain in Africa, and it's the highest freestanding mountain in the world.
Mm.
So it's 19,453, I think, feet high. So it's
Mm.
high, very high. We did the 5 day trek. So it's 3.5 days up, 1.5 days down. Um, and I thought that sounded long. Apparently, we did the short route. The route that we took is called the Marangu route, and it has the summit lowest percentage of people that summit if you do it in 5 days, and that's because
Mm.
it's a little shorter because the going up that much altitude in a short amount of time.
Mm.
Um, but the thing that we liked about it was it had these little wooden huts in it, like
Mm.
A-frame wooden huts, so you could sleep in a hut instead of sleeping in a tent on the ground, which
Mm.
I thought just seemed like a much better idea than than pitching a tent. You know,
What's out there that's gonna take this tent away with me, right?
what doesn't well, I mean, there's some animals in the lower zones. What's cool about the hike is you go through four vegetation zones as you ascend. And
Hmm.
so you start in the rainforest, which is, monkeys and birds and lush, tropical, warm. You're in shorts and it's just beautiful. And
Hmm.
then you move into the moorland, which is ferny and mossy, and there's still shrubs and trees, but they're a little lower to the ground and
Hmm.
a little different vibe. And then out over what am I think over 12,000 feet, you get into the Arctic, or no, Alpine desert, which
Hmm.
is like being on the moon. Like no vegetation, no animals, very sparse, just gravelly. And then you get into Arctic desert once you get over 15,000 feet, and that's like what it sounds like, snow and ice, and that's when
Mm.
the elevation starts getting just really, really high. So it's kind of cool to go through all those zones over
Mm.
a few days. And I had never done a hike like that before, so that was the first time I'd ever climbed a mountain that high and had an experience that took days and days and days like that.
Mm. What made you do it?
Um, it was it was all started by my friend Anne, who called me one day and said, my birthday is Christmas Eve, and
Mm.
she said, how would you feel about being in a hot air balloon on safari for your birthday? And like, no one ever wants to travel for my birthday, Christmas Eve. So I was like, yes. And she goes, okay, I'll call you back. And then she called a friend who had, done a lot of traveling to Africa to work out some details. And then she called me the next day and said, do you want to climb Kilimanjaro while we're there? And I said, yes, let's do everything. Like,
What? Wait. What time of the year was this? Well,
we went in December, but she called me in May.
in May. Okay, so you had some time
Yeah,
to prep.
we had
Okay,
some
okay.
time. We had some time. So I was like, yeah, I'm a big believer that just say yes. You'll sort out the details. I mean, it wasn't like it was tomorrow, you know. And so that was a piece of it, like doing something fun and interesting. But the other piece of it really was I had Kilimanjaro kind of always been on my list a little bit. Like that sounds like an interesting experience. I'd heard of people who climbed it and they'd had really amazing experiences, and I thought, it's something I want to experience in
Mm.
life, to do something different and new. And yeah,
Mm. And you got to do it.
and I got to do
Wow.
it. Yeah. Yeah. I have a huge lesson from it if I can share that part of the story with you.
Oh yes, of course. But I want to know something though. I'm curious. Sometimes when you
Yes.
get to the top of the mountain, you might be getting that dream state. You start thinking about all that you could accomplish in life. You just start thinking about all these awesome things. I'm curious to know when you was on that mountaintop, what are some of your big dreams that showed up for you while you was there?
Well, honestly, getting up that dang mountain was the biggest one. That was hard. It's one of the hardest things I've ever done. Like it
Mm,
was, um, I mean, I think anytime you do something that is really hard like that, that challenges you mentally, especially and physically, then it opens up a part of you that says, what else can you do? Right?
mm,
Like what else, where else do I think something is really difficult or really challenging that I can push myself, that I can try again, or that I can, try and maybe not do it, but at least go after something that's very difficult. So I love from that space. But honestly, getting up that mountain was the big thing on my mind. It was really harder than I thought it was going to be.
mm.
Turned out it's hard.
Okay, okay. So let me. I want to be on the mountain with you. So if you don't mind, I want to get there because I haven't been on
Yeah.
Kilimanjaro yet. But you went to the when you get to like the Alpine area. I know that was like midway, probably or close to the top. You was
Mm-hmm.
thinking, okay, I'm in the desert now. I got the snow left.
Yeah.
And like, what was you thinking about? Like, what was on your mind?
We did it. The first day you go from the base up to so like 6,000 feet to about 9,000 feet,
Hmm.
rainforest, and the cool thing is the guides walk in front to set the pace, and
Hmm.
they're very very good about not letting you go too fast so you conserve your energy. They have an eye on you the whole time for making sure you have enough to summit on summit day. So the first day, it's pretty easy. It was like a stroll. And it's like,
Hmm.
okay, we get to 9,000 feet. Okay, not bad. Second day, we do the moorland. We go from 9,000 to like 12,000. You can feel that.
Hmm.
And it's still a stroll. We're stopping, we're cash. We stop and have snacks, but you could start to feel like, okay, I'm not moving quite as fast. If I go upstairs to get into the little cabin, you're like, you can feel it. Okay.
Hmm.
And we both days were like 4 hours the first day, 6 hours the second day. The third day, when we went through that alpine desert,
Hmm.
and we went from 12,000 feet to like 15,000 feet. Now
Hmm.
that you feel, and that was like, okay, like you can start to see this mountain ahead of you, okay, like, but you never have the sensation of like climbing. It's so gradual that
Hmm.
it's kind of like, oh yeah, I notice, I feel it a little more in my lungs. I notice the terrain is really different. My friend brought cards with like questions on it, which was brilliant, because then
Hmm.
she would ask these random questions and we'd all have a discussion about it. And so
Hmm.
kept it lively and and easy to go. And then we get to the 15,000 foot camp. So that's third day. We hike 6 hours, get in camp at like 2:30 in the afternoon. Um, if you look at Kilimanjaro, it's kind of shaped like this. So we're like here right now.
Hmm.
Um, so you like eat a little bit, whatever, you get ready, and then you sleep. You don't really sleep that much because you have to leave camp at like 11 o'clock at night. You get in at like 2:30 and you leave at 11 p.m. Or 11:15 p.m. because they want you to like get up there by sunrise.
Uh-huh.
And so now, so you set off going, you can't see anything. For us, it was snowing, it was cold. Thank God I live in Chicago. I was like used to the cold. I was fine with the layers. But when I would look up instead of being able to see sky or see, because it was snowing, it was just pitch black. And so I could only see like maybe a foot in front of me. And so when I looked up, all I would see is line of headlamps
Mm-hmm.
doing the switchbacks and going up the mountain. And it seemed like it was 10 miles up. Like it was scary. It was like, I don't know how I'm going to get up there. Like, and at this point, the pace is step, step, step. So you're just like, the breathing is hard. It's just, you're moving so slow, and it feels like forever. It feels like you're going to be forever on the side of that mountain.
Mm.
It was hard. It was, in fact, it got to the point. So, so the best way I can describe what it felt like breathing wise was, we had those water things with the little tube that comes around and you drink the water. And so the tube was insulated so that it wouldn't freeze.
Hmm.
And then they told us to like blow air back into the tube after we drank from it so water wouldn't freeze in it. And just that took all your energy.
Mm.
And it's like, okay. So that's when my mind started getting a little crazy. And it was like, what am I doing? Why am I here? How long is this going to take? Like, this is taking forever. I can't see anything. It's the middle of the night. Like, am I going to make it? I don't know if I'm going to make it. It's taking a long time. How long am I going to have to do this? And it just, that's when the mental part comes in because you're just like, for me, I was just spinning out of control of, I don't know if I can do this.
Mm. How much do you respect your body today, though, from that journey?
Oh, like unbelievable. Your body can do anything. It's your mind that gets in trouble.
Mm.
It's like you can. I went from not running to finishing an Ironman triathlon, so I am living proof that you can train your body to do anything. Um,
Mm.
and yeah, David Goggins has this phrase, something about when your mind quits, your body still has 40% more to go. Like you
Hmm.
can your mind will stop you long before your body will actually give out.
Mm.
That was going through my head too.
Okay, so now I'm on Kilimanjaro, which I can picture you. I can see you up there looking at lampshades, figuring out how many loops you gotta take.
Yeah.
Okay, so go back to the lesson piece now you talked about earlier. So if you gotta share with us, what did you learn about yourself from being
Yeah.
on that trip?
The biggest lesson was so I got to the point when we're going up that morning/night that I literally stopped and I said, I don't think I can do this. And so the guide came over and he said, what's going on, LeeAnn? And I said,
Mm.
I don't know. I don't know. I can only see the thing, and I'm like really going forever. We have forever to go, and my head kind of hurts. I don't know anything. And he
Well,
goes,
wait a minute. What language was that?
it was mumble. It was Kilimanjaro mumble.
That must be the new language for that mountain. Okay, all
It
right.
is. It is. And he looked at me and he said, are you sick or just a little scared? And I was like, I think I'm just a little scared.
Mm.
And then he looked at my friend, he goes, she'll be fine. And I'm like, hey, like, don't
I just
blow me
admit that I'm
off.
scared. What the?
Yeah. And so then my friend Anne, the woman who had originally called me, came over and she said, can you take 10 more steps? And I was like, yes. And she goes, okay, do that and just keep doing that until you can't do that anymore. And I was like, I
Mm.
can do that. So then she and the other girl in our group went up, and there was me and a guide and a porter, and they stayed with me. And I literally went 1, 2, 3, 4, and I went up to 10, and then I started at 1 again, and I kept doing that, and literally until I got to the top of the mountain. And and when we got there, which by the way, we left camp at 11:15 p.m. We summited at 9:15 a.m. Ah, it was not just my imagination. That was a long ass journey. but but when I got there and we take the pictures and the thing and you see the glacier and and you're only up there for like 10 minutes. But I sat down and I was like, what was that?
Mm.
Why do I make that so hard? Where do I make other things that hard, harder than they need to be?
Mm.
It was hard, yes, but I made it harder because I got so in my head about all of this. And so it clicked to me like there's so often and I see this in my clients and my colleagues, and a lot of us do this. We get so caught up in where do I want to go? The summit. I want to have this goal. I want to get to that goal. I want to do that thing. And we get so caught up in how am I going to get there and how long is it taking? And it's not coming as fast as I want and whatever, that we don't realize that all we need to do is take 10 steps. Keep
Mm.
taking 10 steps and then you'll get where you want to go, or you'll get somewhere better sometimes. So that was the giant lesson for me, was like, where am I doing that? Where can I go? How can I just take 10 steps a day? Take 10 steps a day, I'll get there.
Mm. So so what I'm hearing is the number 10 is the key to your mindset.
Now it is. Now it is.
Mm,
Yeah. hmm
mm. Number
hmm
10 is a number of significance now because LeeAnn says when she put 10 into play, the mind gonna have to go ahead and conform.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like everything in life, right? I mean, when I was training for Ironman, I didn't start off being able to do the distances, but every day I took my version of 10 steps. I swam for an hour, or I ran for half an hour, or I biked for 30 miles. And every day, or some days I rested.
mhm,
Every day I would do what I was supposed to do to meet that goal, read about something, exercise, rest, stretch, visualize. Like, I had all the different things to do. And doing that every day for 6 months was what got me over the finish line. But it was
mm.
the cumulative effect.
I love where you put that, by the way. Because now, if you think about, if you had to imagine how many steps that took you to get to the top of Kilimanjaro, you probably had some really outrageous number.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if we to say, Leon, you're gonna take these many steps to get to the top of Kilimanjaro, you probably like, wait a minute.
I don't know about that. Yeah.
And how
Yeah.
many, how many, how many, how many sequence of 10 steps would it take you to get to the top? Would you even want to do it?
Right.
Incredible.
Right. Right.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. So I'm gonna ask you this other question because I'm curious. When you're on top of the mountain, you see you only spend 10 minutes up there. 10 minutes. What did that 10 minutes felt like to you?
It was heaven. It was, thank you, because no one's asked me that particular question. And I love being back in that moment. There's a part of me that was so touched to be that high,
Mm,
to it's like you're kissing heaven. Um it's so in the clouds. It was a gorgeous day. um and with the glacier, and there was this incredible feeling of like, oh my God, I just did this, like, this
mm,
thing that I didn't think that I could do legit. A few hours ago I was on the side of the mountain, like, going, I don't know about this. Like, I accomplished it, but it's also like, um it's just such beauty, such natural beauty, and joy. And nobody is up there in a bad mood. No one's at
mm,
the top of Kilimanjaro like pissed off. It's like everyone has this energy of possibility and joy and happiness,
mm,
and so to kind of stew in that energy was just really magical.
mm. How much more did you love yourself in that moment?
It's incredibly more. I was so proud of. I still am so very proud of myself. Um, for getting there, for working through that, for figuring out a way to complete, to get up there. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
And to
Uh,
know
and
that I'll probably never be there again. Like, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to do that again. You know.
until somebody talked you into it on a Christmas Eve. You know what I'm saying?
No, no. But here's my thing. I'll do other crazy stuff. There's just so much of the world to see. It's like, I don't
hmm
know that I need to go have that experience again, because I want to have a different experience, because there's so much to
Mm.
do and to see and to be. Um, so yeah, yeah, it's
Okay.
cool.
What is that next daredevil thing that's on your mind? That's on your bucket list.
The thing that I have on my eye on for 2025 is, I want to hike the entire El Camino. Are you familiar with the El Camino?
Mm-mm. Mm.
It's a spiritual journey where you walk across Spain. So it's 500 miles.
Ah,
Um, there's a few different routes. The one I want to take is the one that starts in France, and then you literally walk across the top of Spain, and then you get over to the west side, and it's 500 miles. It takes a while.
oh, wait. Back up. 500 miles. Is it gonna be hard terrain or is it gonna be like a road? Well, what is the terrain like?
It varies. It's not as much elevation. I mean, there's parts where you go through mountainous regions or some hills, but for the most part, it's relatively flat. It's just a lot of miles, you know?
Mm. Well,
Yeah.
what is the completion time looking like?
I have a friend who did it in 5 weeks. So it's between 30 and yeah, 30 to 40 days, kind of depending. Mhm.
Ah, wow. Okay. I can see
Yeah.
you doing it. No,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, walking in, meeting people. It's like you nature tasting.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I've
Hmm.
never been to Spain, so I think it'd be a cool way to see Spain.
Culture tasting too. All of that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
I love that.
exactly. I love it.
Yeah. Okay. So next question for me, from you. So what is some of those things that this journey of life uh has put in your aspiration to want to create to build, or maybe some of those things you have built already that you're so proud of right now?
I'm sorry, say again. So I can
If you don't mind sharing with us some of the things that you've been working on that you're so proud of right now, very proud
Oh
of.
yeah. Yeah. Like in my business even or in my business and my life are super
Oh, tell
connected.
us about your business if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell us about your business.
Yeah, yeah. I'm a motivational speaker and a no regrets coach. So I speak, I do keynotes, opening keynotes, closing keynotes, and I speak about no regrets, no limits. So really, how do you create this life that you want to create? And my real
Mm,
mission through that and through my coaching is to I call it turning lights on, kind of the way I like to think about it. But I feel like so many people are in life and they don't realize that they have the power to create the experience that they want to create.
mm,
Um, and so they're kind of not living. There's a little bit of a gap between where they're living and where they the way they want to be living. And I really want to help people see that they have the power to create the life that they want to create. So
mm.
yeah.
Interesting enough, I was on a podcast before I got on this one, and we were talking about the history or like our past, how much that our experience is like is our intellectual property, our experience, our history, right? And if we could sit back, really go back over it and look at it and recognize the power in it, how much we have accumulated, what we have
Yeah.
created, and really own it, right? Because until you own your history, then it doesn't feel like it's yours, right? It doesn't feel like you can
Yeah.
even do much with the future because you disown your past.
Love
So
it.
own your past, and then also automatically got a bigger future. You can create more future from that story.
100%. 100%. You know, it's interesting you bring that up because there are two things. One, I have a no regrets, no limits weekend, and that is one of the exercises that we do. We spend a good amount of time looking at our past achievements, and it's
Mm-hmm.
not from like an egotistical point of view. It's more like what, taking that rich moment because we rarely do this in life, right? We get so like, what am I doing? What's next? What's next? What's next?
Mm-hmm.
In fact, when I came back from Kilimanjaro, the number one question after people heard the story, asked me about it was, what are you gonna do next? And I'm like, can I live in this one for a little bit? Like, can I
Mm.
can I savor this experience? So we don't often look back and kind of collect those lessons. And that's part of what I love helping people do. And then for me personally, I actually created a one-woman show. I don't know if you know this,
Oh, I
what
like
called
it.
Fancy Meeting Me Here.
Okay.
And this story is really it's a collection of stories of me growing up, and the overall lesson is of resilience, but also of how all of my unique experiences are what make me unique, and we all have that. We're all unique beings. We've all done things differently, seen different things, experienced different things, and if we can harness the power in that, then we can really create some magic in our lives.
Hmm. Well, that's powerful. I think we're getting the technology, to really analyze our story. But a lot of us, if we really sit back and just imagine just going back over your history and look at it and figure out the patterns, figure out what you've done, you will see
Yeah,
you got some really unique skill, unique ability in your story that can be useful to other people.
a
But we don't
hundred.
look back. We always looking ahead, and we're looking at the head. We are looking at the horizon. There's a big gap ahead of us. Doesn't seem like much there, but we're not
Yeah,
recognizing the skill set we have gained over the past.
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. Couldn't
Mm.
agree more.
Okay, so what is your magic? What is the other magic you're creating right now? We need to tap into the secret that you want to share.
You, my other magic really is I'm very good at I call it MacGyvering things. Do you remember MacGyver? Do you know
Oh
MacGyver?
yes. Oh
Okay.
yeah. I grew up on that show when I was in Jamaica. Oh yeah, that was
Okay.
a.
All right.
I
I
love
don't
that
know.
show.
I'm realizing some people don't know the reference, which I'm like, what?
Oh my
Um,
God. Yeah.
so I'm really good at MacGyvering things. In fact, I've MacGyvered my whole life. So I'm
Mm.
very good. I do this with my clients now. I'm kind of like their mini MacGyver, right? Like I help them like, where are you at in life? Where do you want to go? Let's figure out our way to get there because everyone's way is going to be unique. And everyone's path will be unique based on a lot of different factors. So yeah,
Mm.
that's what I really love doing.
Mm. I like it. One of my favorite my favorite coach, favorite author, favorite writer, favorite philosopher right now is Dan Sullivan. Are you familiar with him? Dan Sullivan? You ever heard of
Dan
him?
Sullivan. Oh, yes, yes. I just read, I'm on my second read of 10x is easier than 2x.
Yes.
Yeah,
That
yes.
guy is smart, man. Oh,
Yeah, Benjamin Hardy. Yeah, and Dan Sullivan. Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Anyway, I love his content. I listen to it all the time. He has a lot of short books too, which I always just once they come out, I think he's got one out every 3 months, whatever, and I just kind of eat
Wow,
him up. Yeah, he has a
wow.
lot of books. He inspired me to one of my goals is to write 86 book by my 86th birthday. So
Oh,
I've been on the journey of just like putting together stuff. So anyway, it's been awesome.
all right. I
Awesome.
love it. Oh,
Yeah.
wow. That's a mountain.
Th
Ah.
that's that is a mountain. That is a mountain. But it has opened up my mind because I want to get back to when you was talking about earlier about the big dream and like the big like have these big things on your mind. Because I realized when you give your mind something big to go after, automatically it's a different way of thinking about stuff because now it has to think about other people. Because you
Right.
know you cannot do it by yourself. So
Yes,
this is why a lot of people need to have big goals and big dreams because automatically it incorporates other people's unique ability or their skill set. Because without
100%.
it, you can't accomplish it. And now
100%.
I was thinking about your journey on Kilimanjaro and was like, when you were on top of that mountain, automatically I was wondering if you was thinking about the world, other people, and how much you appreciate them and how much you appreciate you for being part of this world, so forth and so on.
Oh yeah, I mean, as I was going up, I mean, when I was, especially when I was in my tailspin, I was thinking, and once I got to the top, about the people who I felt were on the journey with me,
Hmm.
because I had a lot of people who were, rooting for me. When I got down off the mountain and I saw the texts and the WhatsApp chat, they had been praying for me.
Mm,
Even during that time, it was really wild how the timing synced up. That they were literally when I was having my meltdown, they were sending prayers and vibes and support. And I know I couldn't have made it up that mountain or any mountain in life without the support of my friends and my colleagues because it's it's not even there's a there's like a practical aspect of having support and love and kinship with people and then that helps you with ideas or things like that, but there's also just that like in your heart, and it's more fun to just do it with others and help others achieve their things while they help you. I call that crew. So part of my no regrets formula, there's 6 pillars to it. One pillar is crew, and that's who is around you and are they supporting your journey or are
hmm
they kind of detracting from your journey? And if they're detracting, how do you kind of give them a different role?
mm. I'm gonna ask you this question because I have a young lady. I'm helping out a little bit, and when you mentioned the word meltdown, it kind of had me think about this person. So when you was in your meltdown state on the mountain, figuring out that life was just too hard, this mountain was too hard to climb, like who showed up or what showed up in your mind that made you feel like the rest of the journey was still possible?
The So I'm trying to like literally take myself back to that moment to just think about that. It's interesting how our mind works, right? And I had told my friends we had this agreement before we went up the mountain. I was there were 3 of us total, and so we were a small group, and so we had said like, what happens before we took one step? What happens if somebody's having a tough time? Like how do we want help? How can we
Mm-hmm.
support each other? Should
Mm-hmm.
we leave each other alone? Do you want to be talked to or whatever? And I said, I know my mind is powerful. And I know if you can get my mind on something else, then I'll be okay. So for me, ask me questions, ask me, about people I love, or ask me about other experience, or just get my mind on something else. So when I was struggling, my friend Anne started asking me questions, and I immediately said, "Shut up! I know what you're doing."
Mm.
I don't want to answer your stupid questions.
You
I,
you was really hurting.
I was. It was hard. But then I did think about like, all right, I have, my dear friend Michael and my dear friend Michelle. And I thought about the people really close to me that I knew were pulling for me. And okay, and I love them and they're thinking about me and I love what they bring to my life and I love what I bring to their life. I love what they're up to in the world. I did think about that and that helped. And I think the biggest thing though was we do this a lot in life when we're in a hard time we get told to think about something positive, to not dwell on the negative, and to try to figure out how to get on the other side of it. And there was tremendous power, and the answer came when I stopped and I said, "I don't think I can do this." So instead
Mm.
of resisting it, which I had been doing for what felt like ever, going up that mountain, oh, let me think about something else. Oh, they're going to ask me questions. Oh, I'll think about my friends. I'll think about this. I'll think about that. And I was really resisting that feeling. But when I stopped and I said, I don't think I can do this. And
Mm.
then the guy came over. And so I just recognized, I just put it out there. I just admitted it,
Mm.
admitted it. And then when the guy came over and said, "Are you sick or a little scared?" It was like, I'm just a little scared. And again, I admitted it. I'm just scared. And then he's like, "It's okay." And then that's when my friend told me the 10 steps. So it was like, instead of fighting to try to be positive and to think about that and what's the story and here are my people and, resisting it, when I just succumbed to it and admitted it, the answer was right in front of me.
That is the power of stating what's obvious.
Yeah. Yeah. And feeling the emotion. I think
Mm.
that's, I talk about this in my workshop because so often, especially women and especially negative emotions, fear, anger, like that ones that that we feel uncomfortable feeling, we like to push those away and we try not to feel them. But if you can just like instead look right into the storm and just feel them, I have a damn it doll here. These are the best. You can just feed the cry, I cry sometimes, like, I will like feel the whole emotion because 10 minutes after you feel the whole emotion, you're like, "Whew, that's done. Oh, now what can I do?" And it clears up space and energy versus, "I don't want to feel that." Like, how many times have we done that? "I don't want to feel that. I don't want to do, no, no, I'm going to think about something positive." And then it's like, like you
Mm.
still, yeah. Mhm.
The thing about feelings is those are the things that we're afraid of. We are afraid of how things make us feel. Right? That's the biggest fear that we have, how things make us feel. So in that
Yeah.
moment, I was curious about like, do you figure out why you were doing it, this thing? Like, did that came
Why
to
was
mind?
I
Like,
climbing the mountain?
why were you climbing that mountain?
Well,
Like,
I
why
mean,
is climbing that mountain so important to you in that moment?
in that moment, and I was asking myself that question. I mean, there's a piece of it that's because I committed to doing it. I mean, that's the first answer that popped into my head when you asked me that question. And when I commit to doing something, I do it,
Mm.
unless unless there's a real good reason for me not to do it. And
911.
yeah, yeah. So it's like, and I know there's a part of me that knew that I could do it. I just was struggling to do it. But it wasn't like, you know, it wasn't like I'm physically incapable of doing it. It's just I'm again making it harder than it needs to be. So I think there was a part of me that knew that I was making it unnecessarily difficult and that I could actually do it. And so it was like, no, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this.
Mm.
I knew there was something for me at the top of the mountain. I
Mm.
didn't know what.
Well, congratulations, LeeAnn.
Thank you. Thank
Thank you for
you.
sharing that story today. That story was very impressive. And I can, while I was talking, I was thinking about anyone that's listened to this. It's all about in life you have your vision
Mhm.
and you see that vision, you're like, I'm going after that thing. But then automatically there's gonna be an obstacle. And oftentimes we lose sight of the vision because we focus on the obstacles and never get to the vision.
Yeah.
And we lose sight of the why. And the why, it comes down to why is an acronym, what hurts you or what helped you. And if you can focus
Mm,
on the real why, like what is it? Why am I doing this thing? Like why am I, is
yeah.
it's gonna help me, it's gonna hurt me, or is it something that hurts me or help me? Like you gotta
Yeah.
focus on that piece. So you was doing that. And I recognize that awesome piece of you that says I'm gonna finish what I started. And oftentimes people don't finish what they started. They quit.
Right.
And you will
Yeah.
never discover yourself in a quitting experience, only in an experience that you finished. And you
Yeah.
finished that one.
Possibly. I will argue with that a little. It
Tell me
depends on
make your case.
well, because I was okay. So the first time that I attempted Ironman
Mhm,
triathlon is the 2.4 mile swim, 112-mile bike, and a full marathon, 26.2 mile run. And
mhm,
so the first time I attempted that, I didn't finish.
mhm,
Now you could say I didn't quit in the sense that I did the whole swim, I did the whole bike, but I missed the bike cutoff. I didn't make the bike time, so they
mhm,
wouldn't let me continue. So you
mhm.
could argue I didn't quit, that I was not permitted to finish, but I
The
learned
rules.
right. I learned a tremendous amount in that experience, and I
Mhm,
applied that like to life to the second time when I went back and I actually finished and got my medal. But I've learned a ton from that experience that I've put in life. So I feel like there's a and way more. I'm actually in hindsight really glad that I didn't make it the first time
mhm.
because the experience was so much richer when I went back.
Comparison.
And yeah, which that was going through my head in Kilimanjaro too. I was like, you
We ain't doing this
know,
twice.
I did. I thought that. I'm like, if you do not finish, if you do not get to the top, you're going to come back here. I am not coming back here. I'm like, you better get your ass up that mountain because I am not coming back to do this again. There is no way.
No, no, that's a real why. Because
Not
I'm not doing this again. I'm not
doing
doing
this
this.
again. You better get
Hmm.
your ass up that mountain.
Wow, that was awesome. So if somebody hear you right now, LeeAnn, and like, wow, LeeAnn, you actually my hero. I love the way you take on life, you look at life, you embrace life, and I would love to work with you. How can I do it?
Well, you can always go to my whole name, LeeAnnMarieWebster.com. A lot of
Mm.
vowels in there. You can that's my
We're gonna
website.
charge you for typing.
But I know. You can also go to next week. I'm actually hosting a live virtual experience called Find Your Midlife Mojo. So if you go
Mm.
to findyourmidlifemojo.com, then you'll see the registration page and you can enter your name and your email, and that will get you on the list for that. And that'll also, the email that comes from there comes from me. So if you hit reply to that, you can get a hold of me and connect directly. Mhm.
Oh, if you don't mind telling me about that event.
Yeah. So it's for us ladies or gentlemen who
Or
are
or or is on the short side, but okay, all right.
that's with the yeah. I mean, it speaks to that what I had talked about earlier. How you have when you have that feeling that the runway ahead is shorter than the runway behind,
Hmm.
and you realize that you spend a lot of time focused on your family, on your career, on your whatever, and not on you. And you're like,
Hmm.
oh snap, what what am I doing for me? How do I even do this? Like,
Hmm.
what do I even do? How do I do it? That's what the event is designed to address. I'm going to walk through. I have very simple steps that will help you with like how to find what your mojo is, how to get an action around it. I'm obviously a big action person, so that you
Hmm.
know exactly what your 10 steps are, and you can be ready to take a different approach. It's free. It's fun. It's live, so you can ask me questions. Like it'll be a great experience.
Hmm. I love these kind of things because something I'm learning a lot since I retired from the military is finding people who wake up every day and think about a certain things all day. Like that's all they think about. Makes them an expert. Like that's all they think about. But I don't spend a lot of time thinking about it. So when I start thinking about it, oftentimes I'm thinking about the hardest way to do it. But somebody been thinking about it all day, every week, every day they get up. They got a lot of easy way of thinking about it. And oftentimes It's just thinking about the problem is making the problem, like Dan Sullivan says. So the
Yeah.
problem is not the problem, but you're thinking about the problem that makes it a problem. So if you can find a way to find people that thinks about things in the easy way, I'm looking for those people all day long. Like you
Yeah.
and you've been spent 10 years thinking about this problem. I know you got an easy way. Tell me.
100% I do. I love the way you said that. I don't know if you can repeat that, but that was really good with the thinking about the not thing. I don't know what you just said, but that was good.
No, no, I was quoting Dan Sullivan. Yeah,
Okay.
he said he has one of his major philosophy or major principles, so forth and so on. He says, oftentimes the problem is not the problem, but our thinking about the problem makes it a problem.
Yes.
So I
Yes.
realize the power of finding people that are thinking about certain things way longer than I am because they have found a way to think about it easier.
Yes. I love
Mm,
it. Yes.
mm.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
That's how. Mhm.
All right. I love it. So you got the webinar, the seminar going on, and people can show up and get a little bit more taste of you. You're basically going to show them what's on the menu, and they can pick off what's on the menu that they need, and then
Yeah.
yeah, that's perfect. I love it.
Yeah. It'll be a good time. I promise
Very
you
good.
that.
I can tell. Yeah. Okay. Last question, not last question, second to last question. If you had to wrap up and share your biggest takeaway, or maybe your biggest giveaway that you want to have from this conversation, what would it be?
That you have the power,
Mm,
that you're not at the mercy of your circumstances, it's not, if you need, it's not that you need more time, more money, more energy, more whatever. It's that you can sort out your internal resources and you can literally create whatever you want to create in life.
mm, I love that. And what is that one thing or two thing when people do it drive you crazy?
Besides the dishwasher loading, I went no.
Ooh.
um um one is complaining.
Mm,
I know we every now and then we all got events. I do that too. And it's like get into action,
hmm
sitting around complaining about something, never got anything done. And so I can't stand that. And I really can't stand people who don't do what they say they're going to do. You know,
mm,
if you tell me you're going to climb a mountain, go climb the mountain. Or if you decide you don't want to climb a mountain, that's fine. But tell me the new plan. Tell me what you're going to do instead. Like, just
hmm
don't sit around yapping about stuff.
mm. I gotta say, we're in a world right now where a lot of people they're so used to turning in excuses versus turning in results. And
Hmm.
because they don't finish what they started, they don't commit to certain things, and it's a lot difficult. And I see it on, the news, because I think social media model came from like media, right? The media piece, and the media was all about telling us bad stories, all the vicarious trauma, to share us all the bad stuff in the world, and then social media shows up and become a platform where people just get out there and just complain about everything. So it
Yeah.
becomes a complaining platform, right? A place where you just go and lodge your complaint, and
Yeah.
people got used to the habit or the idea of just turning in excuses for certain things
Right.
and not
Right.
finishing what they started. It's crazy.
It's crazy. I think the other real downside of social media has been that we have now lost our ability to have conversations and to welcome other viewpoints. And
Mm,
so, it's very everybody's in a box, right? If you believe this, then you believe this, that, and the other, and I won't talk to you, or your opinion doesn't matter, or your opinion is stupid because you believe
mm,
X and not Y. Instead of I feel like we used to be able to at least say, well, I believe X and you believe Y. Why do you believe that? Like, tell me about that. What's that about? And try to understand where
mm,
another person is coming from. But we don't, it's very
mm.
cut. I don't know what the word I'm looking for, but it's just, yeah, we don't do that.
Yeah. And I would say to that too is, I love this, by the way. We chat a little bit, but the thing that happens when it comes to like belief and all that stuff, it's like, let's imagine you when you showed up, you had an empty mind. You had no information or knowledge, everything you acquired. So then when somebody's like, "Oh, this is my belief," well, you just pick that stuff up along the way. Like it's not really yours.
Hmm.
It's somebody else's that you picked up,
Yeah.
and then you
Yeah.
start fighting over it. And it's like it's not even originally yours. You borrowed it from
Yeah.
somebody along the way. Like
Right.
all these borrowed ideas we just fighting over every day, and this is crazy. I look at them like, "Hey, my belief doesn't work. I'm gonna change it. Throw it in the trash. Pick something else up that works."
Right. Right.
Mm,
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
mm. All right,
Instead of
LeeAnn.
holding on to it. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's been a pleasure, my friend. Any last word before we close out?
Um, you know, The words of Nike, man, just do it. Let's
Yeah.
go get it.
Just do it. I agree. I agree. Well, I welcome your beautiful smile, and I hope you keep doing what you're doing and changing the world, and putting people on top of the mountain that like they're supposed to be, and encouraging folks along the way. So thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
This beautiful conversation. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. It's been awesome as well. And with that, folks, you're tuning to Pandora's Awareness Podcast, a place where we collect stories and circulate life-changing wisdom. And today you got some wisdom from LeeAnn. And in my world, wisdom means application. So if you don't apply what you know, then you're not wise. And if you don't apply what you know that work, then you're still not wise. So I say go out there and seek wisdom and apply it, just like Leon say, just do it like Nike. And with that, make it an awesome week.